But it was just a dream that started. And when a dream starts and you believe in it, then it takes on a life of its own. That next day, Bob Devaney's at a Rotary meeting right here. I think it was, maybe it was at the Hilton at that particular time. He's sitting next to a man by the name of John Tate. Some of you may recognize him, probably the most famous anti-labor union lawyer in the country, and was a graduate at the University of Nebraska. And Bob said to him, John said to Bob, "What's new?" And Bob said, "Well, I met an interesting sports writer. He's doing a different book about Nebraska football." And he described him a little bit about it. And John Tate said, "Well, who's financing the project?" And Bob said, "Well," he said, "I never asked that question. That's a good question." And John Tate said, "Who's publishing it?" Bob said, "I left early. I didn't ask that." John Tate said, "Well, if he's interested in somebody publishing and financing, have him give me a call." That afternoon, about 2 o'clock, my good buddy Bob called. He said, "David, who's publishing your book?" "I did not know you needed a publisher to do a book." I thought you just wrote the thing and you took it to Cornhusker Press and that somebody did something with that. But I'm not dumb. I said, we haven't made any final decisions. We're entertaining some thoughts on that, however. He said, "Who's financing the project?" I thought, hadn't talked to my mother yet. I was happy. I would just ride my bicycle from Washington Street down to the stadium. I didn't think, I thought you had a yellow tablet and a pen and maybe bought a Canon camera or something like that. But I'm not dumb. And I said, "Well, we've had several people express interest, but we haven't made any commitments." He said, "Well, there's a lawyer here in town, graduated from the University of Nebraska, wants to do something for the University of Nebraska. His name is John Tate." He said, "Call him up. He'd like to visit with you." I called up John Tate. First sentence out of his mouth, "Bring over something you've written." I said, "I left my briefcase in Dubuque, Iowa. I said, I can have it UPS'd out. Can we do this next week?" He said, "Next Thursday, be at my house at 10:30 at night and bring over something you've written on the subject." And I said, "Okay." The next day I raced down and did an interview with Monty Kiffin and George, I think it was Darlington, And I put together 18 pages, single-spaced, went over to his house. The butler showed me, and I'll never forget, he was drinking Crevassier and smoking Jose Lopez cigars. I choked on both. I handed him 18 pages, not knowing, in addition to the fact that he's a well-heeled man, he has a photo image, and he's a speed reader, a photographic memory. And he takes 18 pages like this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, my God. Oh. I thought, damn it, he's not even going to read it. He got done, he closed it, he says, "I like this." He said, "I'll tell you what, son," he said, "if you do it in hardbound, I don't like laminated, I want quality. Do it in hardbound." And he allowed me to have a dedication in the front of the book to the University of Nebraska. "I'll open up an account tomorrow morning at NBC Bank at a $150,000 draw at your discretion. Write the book." Well, what do you do? We wrote the book. It was a bestseller. It got to number 2. We couldn't beat out your erogenous zones, and that's when I discovered sex is more important to Nebraskans than football. We're just not going to admit it.